Hi. The LA Kings are one win away from a startling upset in the first round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. And Mark Sanchez strongly insinuated that SEC football programs pay their players and have done so for years. What that means for USC football, we're going to get to that. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos. I'm in a good mood. It's May 11th. I'm about a block away from the Omaha airport. A couple hours from now, it's going to be wheels up. A couple hours from now, after that, I'll be with my wife, and it'll be blouse off. Now, if you like the content we've been putting out about sports in LA for the last couple of months, feel free to clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. We put out a new video between 9 and 10 a.m. every day. It'll let you know it's there. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yes, comments. Because I'm not God. Everybody in Omaha, Nebraska swears they talk to God. And I'm here to tell you it ain't me. Now, before we get to the main topic of USC football, and I admit I've talked about this before, but I have to do it again from a different angle. But we're going to get to the scoreboard and the notes. Great day to be in Angelino yesterday. The Kings defeated Edmonton 5-4 in overtime. 2 goals from Adrian Kempe. The Kings now lead the series 3-2, and it shifts back to LA on Thursday night. Meanwhile, the Dodgers, season high in runs, season high in hits. They obliterated Pittsburgh 11-1. And in US Open Cup, LAFC has defeated Portland 2-0. Meanwhile, today, the Dodgers will complete their series with the Pirates at 9:30 a.m. Sparks will take on Atlanta at 2 p.m. and back in U.S. Open action, California United will take on the Galaxy in Irvine at 5:30. So let's start off with a Lakers note. Jeannie Buss has come out of the woodwork and had an interview with Bill Plaschke. It was rather noteworthy. One thing she said, Phil Jackson and Magic, all the palace intrigue, all the bad blood, it's done floated away. They're now advising the team again. I'm not sure I know what to think about that, to be honest with you. She's also upset over the money that the Lakers lost because they paid a boatloaded luxury tax money, did not make the playoffs. Now, keep in mind, the Lakers, they're not owned by a corporation. They're not run by somebody with more money than God. Jerry Buss, back when he was alive, he bought the team when he was, kind of wealthy. Not a billionaire like everybody else. So this team cannot afford to lose millions of dollars every year like that. She also quashed all LeBron James trade rumors. Thank the Lord. Anything that we can do to get people to shut up about proposed trades of LeBron James, I'm completely in favor of. We spoke recently about the Dodgers needing to juggle their pitching because they're playing 31 games in 30 days. Well, today, right-hander Ryan Pepio makes his major league debut. Now, it might be more than just an audition. Keep in mind, Dodgers starter Andrew Heaney, he hurt his shoulder, he hurt his arm. So he's been out of action for a while. They don't know necessarily when he's coming back. Meanwhile, 2 outlets are reporting that the Dodgers are trying to deal David Price. Good luck with that. Yeah, they owe him $32 million on his contract. I don't see a big trade market for $32 million relief pitchers. Just saying. Running back Sony Michel has left the LA Rams. He signs a free agent contract with Miami. Also, the Rams have the so-called toughest strength of schedule next year. I wouldn't read a lot into that. The strength of schedule is based on what the records were for these teams last year. That doesn't count free agency, players retiring, new coaches, the draft. A great record last year doesn't mean squat now. But if you want to prop your collar and say the Rams have the toughest schedule in the league, knock yourself out. Meanwhile, the Chargers allegedly have the 10th toughest schedule. LAFC has offered a contract to center back Giorgio Chiellini. He is currently playing for the biggest team in Italy, Juventus. He is an Italian soccer legend. He's also played for the national team. Problem is, the guy's 37. They didn't even offer him a designated player contract because they don't know how much mileage he has yet left. So I'm not so sure the guy's going to sign with LAFC. Meanwhile, in USC football, they have added a defensive end from Wyoming, Solomon Byrd. Now, he has played 2 years for the Cowboys, 2019, 2021. He skipped 2020, that was a COVID year. Over the 2 years he did play, 10 sacks. This, however, is not exactly like the holy smokes level signing. It's a good depth piece, but I don't necessarily see this as a game changer. Former USC quarterback Mark Sanchez, however, appeared on Colin Cowherd's radio show. And one of the things he said that got a lot of people all, oh my God, was he was saying that NIL, name, image, likeness, that's the rule that allows colleges to pay elite athletes because after all, they're using their name, image, and likeness. He says that it's great because it, quote, allows the Trojans to compete with the SEC. And that just set people off. People online, you know, they released the feces of player hating and just dropped it into the porta potty of false accusations. It was the same crap all over again. Lincoln Riley's a cheater. USC pays its players. And, you know, they go on Twitter and they say USC and then they cross out the S and they put in a $sign. Like we're going to all clutch our pearls and be offended over something like that. Look, to repeat, before we go into the thing I want to rant about, before you accuse Lincoln Riley of cheating, understand, if he was a cheater, he would have been a cheater at Oklahoma, right? He would have left Oklahoma, and Oklahoma would have been on probation if Lincoln Riley was a cheater. That hasn't happened. So until you actually have evidence of cheating, you got to stop accusing the man, right? No. What actually was the real part of the Mark Sanchez interview was glossed over because everybody just wanted to hate on USC. The real thing that caught me in the interview was the strong insinuation from both Mark Sanchez and Cowherd that the SEC has been paying its players for years, even way before NIL. Now, we have to be fair. Does Mark Sanchez have any proof? I doubt it. I mean, he would have to name names. He would have to have a paper trail. He would have to say, this guy can show you receipts. So no, I think he was basically chugging a bit of the haterade, just like a lot of other people do about USC. But having said that, it doesn't change the fact that being able to compensate players almost completely does the opposite. Being allowed to pay players does not make a cheating argument. It obliterates the cheating argument. If I'm paying you and it's legal, I didn't cheat. Correct? Now, it almost eliminates all cheating accusations. Almost. What do I mean by that? Well, NIL, the rule, is in its infancy. And because it's in its infancy, it's the Wild West out there in terms of recruiting. You can bend rules because there are no, actually, let me rephrase. You can't bend rules or break them because there are no rules to bend or break. There need to be standards. I agree with that, right? And I don't know what they might be. For example, there may be salary caps in a couple of years. There may be a pay scale. Like freshmen make this, but seniors can make more. Does that make sense? There could even be something in the transfer portal that basically says, look, you can only transfer from one school to another if it's either a family reason or if the coach who recruited you, if the coach who recruited you gets fired or if he goes to another college. Those rationales make sense. And I'm okay with changes like that. Those things and more can all be discussed because I believe players absolutely have to be compensated. The reason that it is not appropriate to accuse Lincoln Riley and all these other places of breaking rules in this day and age is when you consider just how much these colleges are getting paid. Consider the SEC. They are about to get paid $3 billion, $3 billion for jumping ship from CBS and going over to ESPN. $3 billion. ESPN is a group of folks who created an entire network for one school's athletic program, Texas. The Longhorn Network, remember that? So how do we ethically argue that the SEC can get $3 billion and that Texas can have its own network making gobs of money, but the players can't get anything? That's patently not fair. That's not even a conservative or liberal argument. That's just common sense. Because there's no way a college education can possibly match $3 billion. So, I look at college, I realize, I will grant you this. I realize that the first time you hear maybe college athletes should get paid, I acknowledge that it sounds a little sketchy. It does. It kind of sounds like medical marijuana. You think the law is sketchy, but then one of your friends brings the good shit. And you're kind of willing to look the other way now. And that's what Lincoln Riley is doing for USC. Whether you want to admit it or not, he's not bringing over some haggard dime bag of dried out sativa that was found on a rock under the desert sun for about a week. No. See, what Lincoln Riley is doing is he's bringing that prime granddaddy purple indica that all the southern hillbillies have been just hoarding for decades. So I'm here to tell you haters out there, it's time to puff, puff, pass. It's time to share. Because everybody's making money. And if USC decides to send some of that to the players, so be it. Now, if you enjoyed this little chat, thank you. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel because we want to grow something big for LA sports. My name's James. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Quian Corta El Queso production. Take care.